there was an ABC News report that came out, you may have saw it, that talked about global warming, and from one veteran to another. The report basically said that what's going to happen, I guess, down the road is third world country governments are going to get famine and disease because of the global warming. And what will happen is those third world countries will become overrun by drug lords and anarchists, which is going to force the U.S. military to have to move into these third world countries to help bring the country back and stabilize it, all due to global warming. I guess my question for you is, what can we do now to prevent this from happening for a military that's already stretched thin enough? Can we get other countries to help us in this area? Because right now it seems like we're all alone.
You know, you bring up something that I haven't talked about enough. There was a recent study by a group of retired military officers and highly respected national security experts. And their conclusion was, as you say, Sergeant, that this has become a national security issue because of places like Bangladesh, which have very low altitude, countries that, as the oceans rise because of the melting of the poles, they will be flooded and there will be those kind of catastrophic consequences. By the way, Alaskan villages right now, Native Alaskans are falling into the ocean because of the melting and the increased temperatures that are thawing out the permafrost. I mean, it's just a fact of life, and it's well documented, and we're going to have to spend lots and lots of money to relocate these Native Alaskan villages to places where they wouldn't fall prey to it. So it's not some kind of idea that probably that's not going to become a reality. It would not only cause the disruption, but the humanitarian effects. I'm not sure how many people live in Bangladesh. I know it's one of the most densely populated places on Earth, and I would just guess at least a couple 100 million people, and that's just off the top of my head. It's probably a display of ignorance, but I know it's very tightly populated. They live at very low sea level locations, and if you get the rising ocean levels, then those people are going to be displaced. They have to go somewhere. So it may not be so much worried about the drug lords and stuff. You've just got humanitarian disasters of enormous proportions on your hands. That's also true of these Pacific Island nations. It's also true of a lot of parts of the world. So all I can tell you is that it is a national security component of it, and we are becoming more aware of it. But it's like any other natural disaster of huge proportions. There's unanticipated consequences as well as anticipated, and for the first time we're beginning to look at the national security implications of climate change as well. Frankly, something that 10 years, 5 or 6 or 8 years ago, I never really thought that much about. But thanks to the study, it's focused some of our attention. I guess one of the things we should do as a nation is probably be better prepared to try to assist in humanitarian disasters, which then I think is going to require the use of our military, obviously, as it has in other natural disasters that have already taken place. Thank you, and thanks for serving, sir. Yes, sir.